All right. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Tara here with a Wifey Wake Up No Makeup podcast. And this morning, we're going to talk about what your skin says about your health. Now, some of these things are very intuitive, and some of these are going to really blow your mind. It's really, really amazing. So, first of all, you may not be aware that makeup, at least makeup in the classic sense, is a way that to enhance the face to indicate health and fertility. But when you're covering that up, you may be covering up some signs that are indicating where you may need to improve your health or where you're doing really well. And so we'll address a few areas. I just want you to know that this is actually a whole big study in and of itself. It's not just a neat article in a magazine. This is something that practitioners of traditional Chinese medicine, classical herbalism use in helping to assess their clients and what is going on in their body in order to recommend herbs and so forth to help them with their health. And now you're going to know some of those key indicators so that you can help monitor your health along the way before it gets to a critical point. So very, very helpful tools here. And some of them are very intuitive, by the way. So for example, just getting to the makeup is a great example. When we think of classical makeup application, and by classical, I mean that it's not gothic style. We're not doing Hollywood makeup. Well, Hollywood might be there an example in some cases, but primarily we're not using wild, unnatural colors. A lot of the times we're trying to indicate health, and health also indicates fertility. And this is also something to keep in mind as you're doing your makeup. If you like a more natural look and you want to appear that way, particularly if you're dating, you have kind of more of that traditional outlook and view, these are maybe something that will help you. Also, of course, these days it's so prevalent that women are using Botox and fillers and so forth. Those too are meant in some way to indicate health and fertility, like filling in the lips is an indicator of fertility, but a lot of it's taken just out of proportion, as we know. So these are just good indicators also to kind of keep things within a range of, let's just say, quote, normal. Okay, so first of all, we know that the dark circles under the eyes, right? That's why every concealer is made out there, to conceal those dark circles or dark spots on the skin as well. And the dark circles, so first we're going to cover colors to pay attention to, and then we're going to cover areas of the face, if I can maintain that structure. So first of all, blue is an indicator that your body's not getting enough circulation to that area. Purple means it has gotten worse. And by worse, I mean it's also not getting good circulation, not getting good oxygen, and it's stagnant. And when you think of stagnant, think of like a stagnant pond that just has really dirty waters, not getting good airflow, circulation, and that happens in your body as well. And then one of the worst, if not the worst colors to see that you want to observe in your face, if it exists in your face, is gray. And the gray, I mean, we've all seen this in someone who smokes heavily, has smoked for many years. There's just kind of a gray hue overall to the face. Now, I understand, we have different skin tones, and some people actually have maybe a little bit of gray, like if gray eyeshadow works well for you. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the overall hue, a tone, and particularly you'll see most commonly in people who smoke a lot and have smoked for many years. My kitten is wanting to play with the cords, and she wants to bite me because I won't let her. So that's the gray that I'm talking about, and it's definitely something to be aware of. So those are the tones to definitely be aware of. Another one that people are really aware of is red. Of course, any redhead, those who have red undertones, I have more of a ruddy complexion. It just shows up. Now there's a normal level where just that's kind of how your body is, right? You have those reddish undertones, you're more ruddy. But then there's those occasions where maybe your cheeks are much more flush after you've maybe had some wine or certain food that aggravates you. Maybe you're actually aggravated and you turn red. And that's a normal reaction. However, we know you can intuit, if someone's not feeling well and their cheeks are really flush, or they've just eaten something hot food, for example, and they get really flush. Well, of course, that's the body reacting, and there's a healthy reaction, and then there's an inflammatory reaction. And if you have um, out of the ordinary redness, that of course would be an inflammatory reaction. And again, and most redheads know this, but if you have red or red undertones, your body is naturally more reactive. And that just may be the case. It may be something to pay attention to more. So some red is okay. It just may be part of your natural skin tones. But if you have blotches or spots that are really red, of course, look into that. What did you just eat is a big indicator. So those are those are the main colors to pay attention to. I'd say, especially if you're not a redhead and you're having these red breakouts, then you really know that your body is inflamed. So those are the colors to look for. But then there are regions of the face. And again, like I mentioned, this is a whole study in and of itself. I first learned about facial assessment in depth as I was building the Matthew Wood Institute of Herbalism with world-renowned herbalist Matthew Wood. And we do have a class at the Matthew Wood Institute of Herbalism about facial assessment, which is super fascinating. There are many examples and herbal recommendations to pair with that. So if you want to go more in depth in that direction, just go to the Matthew Wood Institute of Herbalism.com, and you can definitely learn lots more there. But again, we're just covering some basics here. So the regions of your face, different parts of your face, represent different organs and systems of your body. And the ones I'm going to share with you are particularly interesting and important for women. It's a cat morning this morning. So let's just start from the top down. First of all, the eyebrows. The eyebrows can actually indicate how strong your constitution is. And by constitution, we don't use that word a whole lot in our Western culture, but it's kind of like how robust you are just by nature, how much energy, how energetic, how full is your gas tank that you were given at life. And your eyebrows can actually really indicate how robust of health you have. And so the thicker, the better in that sense, believe it or not. I find it so interesting as fashions go in and out as far as makeup and especially eyebrows, whether it's a time to keep them thin and, well, always manicured, right? But the thick eyebrows, so interesting when those come back. And now, well, anyways, that's a whole other topic. But something else to look for is if your eyebrows are thinning from the outside in particular, that can indicate that your thyroid is struggling. So very interesting, right? Because when we're doing makeup, the typical application, right, is to make sure that they're even, filled in from inside to out. And so that's just an interesting correlation as well. The next would be the eyes. Now there's so much that you can see in the eyes, and something that you can look at in general also is just where you tend to keep tension in the face. I'm adding this one in. I didn't have this one planned, but particularly when we get to the lips, hopefully I remember to tell you about that. But that's something really to take notice of, because that is an area of your body that you are likely tensing up as well. So around the eyes, I'm just going to talk about the under eyes. Like I mentioned before, the under eyes are where women especially pay attention to the most. Are they puffy? Are there dark circles? Well, I think we all know if you've had a lot of late nights, early mornings, the under eyes tend to get puffy and have dark circles. The under eyes in traditional medicine indicate the kidneys and the kidneys and the adrenals. So it's important to add the component of the adrenals because I think we understand that better. It relates the our medicine today relates to traditional medicine better when we think about it as the adrenals. And that's basically your energy stores, your energy source. And when you've been taxing that energy, you're taxing your kidneys as well. Like when you get under stress, you have to go pee more often. It's they're related. They're very related. And so when you're up late, up early, not sleeping regularly, you will see it in under your eyes. And it's just an interesting correlation. There are some people who genetically also have naturally dark circles on their eyes that is not necessarily related to the kidneys. So that's important to know. But if you're definitely, dragging, you're tired and you have those dark circles under your eyes, just understand, in addition to just making that correlation that you're tired, that it has to do with the adrenals and the kidneys as well. Let's see. So next, I'm going to cover the mouth, and is really the mouth region. First of all, this area around the mouth indicates the large intestines. So going back to the colors earlier, note if you have any blues and purples, especially, and gray, that those are real indicators of that your bowels are not doing very well. It's also interesting to note, and bring it up again, if you hold tension or if you have really deep lines, pay attention to that also, especially noticing if there are any dark, like blue, purple, and so forth within those lines. And in that case, I would get things checked out. So it's really fascinating, just that simple correlation. And now you'll never look at someone that you're sitting across the table at dinner with again the same. You'll be noticing these things and you'll wonder how they're doing. The lips and around the lips can indicate a number of things. So like I said, around the lips is large intestines, but the lips themselves can indicate how the intestines are constitutionally overall and how they're doing at the moment. So it's interesting. So I mentioned that how we do our makeup is really to indicate health and fertility. This is you can probably start to see some of the indications why, right? That we're not putting on like purple and blue lipstick, right? Someone in Hollywood might do that to indicate Hollywood makeup, right? So they would do purple or blue lipstick for someone who maybe just suffered hypothermia, for example. And so when you make those correlations, it makes tons of sense, right? Those are not colors we would use to indicate health. But then there's also just the overall condition. So a lot of times we're trying to imitate or mimic fuller lips, right? Never trying to, or probably in extremely rare conditions, trying to indicate thinner lips, but usually fuller. And we also know that by injections and so forth, that when they start looking abnormally large, it strikes you as being odd. And especially the more you're not in that environment where so many women are doing that, you can really, really see it. So the lips overall indicate intestinal strength and health. And so too thin of lips indicate poor digestion, just weak ability to digest. On that note, if you see someone who has very pursed lips, they could also be holding tension in that area of their body. And if this is you, it's just something to pay attention to. And in the bowels and the lower bowels in particular. And that over time can lead to health issues. And so just something to pay attention to. Now, if someone's lips are, let's just say, abnormally full, and I don't mean by injections here, I mean that just they have naturally very voluptuous lips. You might feel envious of them, but something that they need to be concerned about is slow digestion, and that they can have a tendency towards constipation and things building up. And so just something to be aware of. Having a happy medium is good. Having you know, not too full, not too thin lips, good color, it indicates that there's good circulation going on in that area. It's absolutely amazing what the body indicates. Okay, last but not least, for the ladies out there, you might have noticed at certain times of the month that you break out on either side of the corner of your mouth. And this area indicates the ovaries. And so if you get a little breakout partway through the month and you're like, dang it, I didn't, it's never at the right time, right? But it's actually an indicator of fertility. So don't be so hard on yourself. Sometimes it actually shows up on the side that you're ovulating from, which is super fascinating. And again, if you see any discoloration in this area, just something to be aware of, that it might be correlating to that area of your body as well. So that was a brief overview of the health, how your skin and on your face particularly indicates how your health is in your whole body. Your skin actually is your largest organ, and it does indicate overall health. Other areas of your body as well can show your general condition and wellness. For example, if you have bumps or breakouts, your body has been trying to filter something out. There's so much that you can learn about your health via your skin. And hopefully this intro piques your interest to learn more, because as you address your skin issues, you're actually addressing so many other issues within your body. Like in all of my talks, this is all from experience. I should have started with this, but since I was a child, I suffered really severe skin issues, not just breakouts, especially as a teenager, had flaky, dry skin, but it was oily at the same time. I had bumps and rashes. And what I learned is that my body was really toxic. I needed to clean out my body. And as I learned about that, the rest of my health and condition improved to the point where now I'm 42 years old, and people ask, oh my God, what do you do? Your skin looks amazing. And I will end with this. These are my biggest tips. The easiest tips, I would say. I've started a skincare series, which you can check out on the Tara Bachland YouTube channel. And there's definitely more to share. But my biggest tip is make sure you're getting enough clean water. And by enough, the recommendation is a minimum half your body weight in ounces. So if you weigh 150 pounds, that's 75 ounces per day. And I would say aim for more if you can, especially if you're working out, you're pregnant or nursing, of course. But if you're sweating during the day, make sure to get more, as much of that clean water into your body as possible. Starting with that 8 ounces right away in the morning, just doing it, it will get you going. It will get your digestion, your elimination going, and you will see it in your skin. So for example, I can tell when I've been having regular coffee or tea, caffeinated tea in particular, I can see it in my skin. And it's absolutely imperative to keep your skin hydrated. Clean food, it means as close to from the ground as possible, whether that's the actual vegetable or the animal eating the grasses and so forth. That's the simplest way to put it. Find out which foods irritate you. It may be dairy can really be bothersome. Of course, if you are redhead or have red undertones, you can see pretty quickly find the foods that bother you and eliminate those. They'll help just generally bring down the inflammation in your body. And without turning this into an entire health talk, one more thing is keep your body moving on a daily basis, even if it's a brief, brisk walk, rotating that in with your more active exercises. Keeping that blood circulating is a way that your body cleanses your body, among so many other things. It literally keeps you healthier, younger, keeps your body doing all the things that it needs to and wants to do. It just needs your help with good food, water, and some exercise. It can really make all the difference in the world. So your skin is trying to tell you things. Just take a look, take a gander, take a listen, and just change one thing at a time and see how much of an effect that can have. It can really make an enormous difference in your life. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I'm here every morning except for Sundays around sunrise. Depends on how long I take to prepare for these episodes. But around sunrise, make sure to like, subscribe, share this with a friend. Did you find this fascinating and helpful? It's really fun to learn and do with a friend because you see things on your face. You will see things on your friend's face that she won't see, and vice versa. And so it's really a fun thing to study and do together as well. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Take care, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.